Alright, so here. Alright, today we're going to be acclimating some mollies to salt water. Now, this works because mollies are not freshwater fish. They're actually brackish water fish. So they can handle salt a little bit. If you try this with an actual freshwater fish, it will die. But we found some really cool colored ones. While water's getting cloudy. We'll get into that. But first, man, I'm always writing notes on my tanks. If you ever want to, you just get any dry erase marker, but there's only a couple colors that really show up. Orange is the best one. These are from Mr. Pen. I don't know, found on Amazon. But they are amazing. Maybe I dropped it. One other thing, while I was buying the mollies, I found this incredible Goniastria. Now, they didn't have it named, they just had it as a moon coral, but I'm like 100% positive that it is a Goniastria. It's like green with neon green stripes. It's gonna be a cool one. Excited. And as you see, I've just been throwing all my zoas from the lagoon that I didn't want in there. I've been throwing them in here because the lagoon is the only tank that I've found a couple Aptasia in. So I gotta make sure these are clean before I put them anywhere else. This kind of turned into my quarantine. That's why the new coral's in there. Now, getting into this. Tip number one, I mark the water level and the time that I start. I put a bunch of fresh water in here, dump the mollies in, mark the water level. Now, it's a mess because I was looking for tubing and pieces. This plastic pipe right here, I have one that I heated up with a normal lighter, and I bent it to fit around the lip, so it kind of hooks on like a candy cane. And then I just hook a hose up to it, but I couldn't find it, so I used a plastic elbow and a little air valve. You need an air valve anyway, because that adjusts your flow rate, your drip rate. And that's very simple. Anybody can do it. You just need some airline hosing, couple fittings to get over there so it don't fall. Or you can clip it. I guess you can clip it. I got the clip down here. You just put a little valve on it so you can adjust your drip rate. I couldn't get my drip rate as slow as I wanted, so I put it in a little twist, clipped it. Now, the internet says you can do this in a few hours, but I wouldn't suggest it. I think it's too fast because we don't have brackish mollies that are already half adjusted. We have freshwater mollies. These are born in freshwater in captivity. These are going to need a little longer time adjusting. So, if you go to Petco or anywhere and buy some regular freshwater mollies, I would suggest stretching it out to 12 to 24 hours. And now, you're going to let it fill up pretty much the whole way. You're going to probably put twice as much salt water as fresh water in here. But then you're going to have to dump some of that out. And you're going to have to do it again. Because even once it's full, it's still not the salinity of your aquarium because you started with fresh water. So the goal is to dump it out and refill it 1 to 2 more times until it's the salinity of your aquarium. So I'm going to dump this out and fill it up to the top probably 3 times or until I'm very close to my salinity. Now, you buy fish from the local pet store, naturally you buy 10 of them, a couple are probably going to die just from stress, and the fish at the fish store are never healthy. So if you do this and a couple die right away, it might not have been your fault. Keep that in mind. The fish might have already been sick and it was going downhill. Might not have been your fault. Now after we get them acclimated and we put them in the salt water, again, some more might die. In my experience, at first, the ones that aren't going to take the salt water die pretty quick. The ones that are left last a very long time, and they'll even breed in your saltwater aquarium. They'll breed all the time. These are kind of cool fish. They eat algae. Everybody acts like they eat a lot of algae, but honestly, I don't know if you'd notice the difference unless you put an army of these things in your aquarium. I just put them in because they're peaceful fish. They handle smaller aquariums fairly well. They don't make a mess, and they keep my nutrients in balance. When you add marine fish, you're always at risk of fish fighting, aggression, nipping at corals. Where these are perfectly safe to add to any aquarium, as long as you don't have aggressive fish already. These ones are half goldish orange, and then the back half's black. Really cool. So yeah, but I always connect a plastic tube to my air stone, so that keeps it under the water. There's also a suction cup connected to the tube down there. Because if you just put it on it, you can just use hose, but it tends to float up to the top. You almost gotta zip tie a rock to it so it sinks to the bottom like an anchor. You have to have a heater. Even if you're only gonna try 3-4 hours, you need a heater and air. I think the air bubbles, if you crank them up, it creates enough flow that they're okay. But again, I'm gonna shoot for 24 hours. The mollies are almost ready. I've had to adjust the knob a couple times. Bubble. Make the drip rate a little faster. It slowed down a couple times, so you gotta watch that. Fish still seem happy. I've fed them because they've been in here a long time. But this is the salinity tester that I use. It's the Hannah. But you can, whatever salinity tester you use, just make sure you keep testing the salinity. You don't want it to rise too fast, but at the same time, you want it to be exactly what your tank is before you put these fish in your tank. air bubbler helps keep the pH a little nice. pH in this water is at least 8.2 right now. So that has a good factor, a big factor in success. But I'm not a professional at this, so see if it's successful. And also, because my salinity on my reef tanks is a little higher. I don't know if I've ever said what it's actually at. I keep my salinity at 1.026. Occasionally they even get up to 2.7. So some people keep them at 2.5. Mollies would like that a lot better. Mine's a little on the higher end. I gotta get this basket out of here. I hate the way it looks, but I broke some pieces off on accident, and a couple other frags that I pulled out of here a long time ago weren't doing good, so I put them back in here. Stuff that just wasn't happy in other aquariums, so I put it back in here, seeing if it would come around, and it is. They're always coming around. This aquarium's doing really good. It's getting a lot cleaner. We did have some algae issues, but they're pretty much going away. They always do. This aquarium's doing great. This one, I haven't really showed off yet. It's gonna end up being a SPS aquarium. At some point, I'll probably stuff it with little acroporas. But right now, it's just not ready yet. I mean, the sunset monopora is doing great. This little smooth skin acro frags, they're doing alright. The orange samacoras all have green growth edge. There's a gold one, a purple one, a green, blue one. That's doing alright. It's almost ready. Mushrooms. The lights just came on, so these ain't puffed up yet. Another couple hours they will be. Here, Zoas are open. This tank's finally doing much better. One day I'm actually going to clean these tanks before I show them to you guys. They're always dirty. I never clean the glass. So then, this tank's doing a lot better. Pretty much everything I put in here is happy now. No more dinos. The color and the variety is coming back pretty good. We're starting to get some wild little yellow stripes through them. These are always doing great. I think the long spotted sea urchin might have nibbled on a couple, like that little speck there. Um,